Hi, my name is Joel Davis with World Composting, and today I want to show you one of my bins that you see quite frequently but probably don't realize it, and that is the bin for my time-lapse videos. Now, this is a standard bus bin that I bought at Sam's Club, and it's loaded with typically hardwood pellets or cocoa coir. I don't use the shredded cardboard for this because I want it to be more uniform, the surface, and be able to spread out a little better. But I will say that I had some issues with my last video, which I'm sure you noticed if you watched it very closely, on the slow speeds, and that is fruit flies were just taking over. And I have been struggling to get rid of them out of the system, but I think I'm finally close, and it took quite a bit of work. I loaded it up with hardwood pellets on top, soaked it, saturated it with the BTI mix that I showed in the last video, and I have been trying to make sure that there's nothing left in here other than worms since. But because of that, I've done 0 time-lapse videos. Now, I'm looking to get started with this again very soon, but the first thing I'm going to do is I want to show you this bin, and I want to show you what's left of it. And it's just amazing how the fruit flies have really dug into here, and then I think it turned to fungus gnats. But when you watch that video, you could just see there were hundreds of them crawling all over it, and it's taken quite a while to get rid of them. And I thought you could see the progress that I've made, and that way you know that hopefully I'll be able to get back to my time-lapse videos soon. I think my next one might be either watermelon or, let's see, I was thinking banana or something like that, or even grapefruit maybe, something different. So we'll see. I have a couple different ideas. I have lots of suggestions that have come in. There's a couple of them I might refilm now that I have a newer camera that seems to work a little better. My other one was dying from doing these videos. They actually wore out the shutter on it, so it happens. Got to move on though. So let's take a look at this bin, and that way I can show you how it's going. Alright, as you can see, this is a pretty dry bin. I've been drying it out. I actually had a ton, and I mean an absolute ton, of hardwood pellets that was actually bulging out of here. You can already see the worms moving a little bit in here. But you can see this is very, very dry, and I did that on purpose to try to get rid of these fruit flies in here. All the material, though, in the bottom is nice, rich, dark material. It's still somewhat dry, but there are worms in it, and they are moving around. They're still doing very well in here. I doubt there's any food left in here after it's been going like this for a while. But as you can see, the worms are still in here. There's still plenty alive. You know, you can still see the pumpkin seeds left over, too. But I added in a ton of these hardwood pellets on top, got them wet, and I just let them sit there and absorb any of the moisture that I could. So if you see in this corner right here, you can really see that I didn't load them up with too much moisture. I really wanted to dry out the top and try to prevent fruit flies from getting out. This didn't work incredibly well because I think these bins are just not deep enough. Actually, I feel something in here. Oh, this is a mango seed. Look at this. So this is from another little experiment I probably had going in here at some point, or was trying to work on. See if we can crack this open here. But, you know, I've done a few different time-lapse experiments that didn't work out very well, and I've shut them down, or I never posted them. So this might have been one of them where I was trying to see how a mango seed would work in here at some point. But, so this is how this bin looks. I mean, like, there's tons of dark, rich, crumbly material in here in the bottom. But on the top, you have all this dry material. So what we need to do is we need to get all this material wet. Most of the food in here is gone. So this is also going to help the worms if we get this material wet, which is why I compile it to the side. We're going to saturate all of this really well. But I just wanted to kind of give you an example here of what a worm bin can look like. Even though this looks like it would be just completely dried out, you can see in the bottom here there are tons and tons of worms, even though this is a very, very dry bin. So we're going to cover this back up now, move it around a little bit. I'm not too worried about fruit flies now at this point. I haven't seen too many come out of here, although I keep looking and checking. But I mean, you can see these corners are incredibly dry and compacted. So they're going to have to be loosened up. You know, and I'm going to have to probably move this material to another bin, and I'll probably have to restart this really and move the worms to a different bin altogether just to kind of get this working properly. There's just too much material in here. As you can see, it's, you know, it's not quite up to this top section here, but I'm basically an inch away or so, which is just too high. And this is one of the things that if you're working with these bins, you're going to find at some point you have too much material and it becomes hard to move around. And that's what I am right now with this bin. It's just really hard. Actually, this material over here looks really good and moist. You can see the different coloring. Worms look nice and healthy over here as well. Oops. Almost spilled some over the side. Hopefully I didn't knock any worms out. Doesn't look like it. But see, there's plenty of worms in here, but they need moisture, they need food. Right now I'm not going to give them any food, but I am going to give them the moisture that they need. So we're going to do that though with our BTI mix. I'm just going to level this off again. And this is still going to expand because all these pellets are not fully expanded. So this is still going to rise up again. And you can see the worms here, they're not liking this dry stuff. So we really need to get some water on them. Moisten this back up. As I said, I'm using my BTI mix here. So again, I am not getting my hand with this stuff. I'm just putting this directly on here though. I'm sure the worms really like this because this is nice, you know, lukewarm water as far as the, you know, where it's been sitting in my basement, but it's not freezing cold right from the tap or anything. And we're going to put in quite a bit of this, really get this moistened up. Even if we have too much water in the bottom, that's okay. It'll soak up to the surface, hopefully. I might even mix it after this too, just to see how it is. Because, I mean, there's no food in here. The key right now is just getting this moisture content up. Because it's really dry. And it's too dry for the worms. I mean, they were able to survive down on the bottom, but with mixing it up, it's just going to dry right back up again. So you can see it's still pretty dry, so I think this is going to need even more water. I mean, you can see, I mean, like we poured water right here, and it is almost 100% dry as you get further down. So needs more water. We're going to add more water to it. But this is what I've been doing with all my systems, really loading them up with bedding, as I've showed you with multiple systems, and then adding this BTI mix. And then I also had for a while on here, I did have even the, you can see here, I mean, I'm going to pour a ton of water right there. Look at this. It's just going to soak right in. And it's going to break apart some more of these pellets. But I've been doing this with all my systems. Now, most of them are not this dry. So it's not this bad. This one is really bad. It's way too dry. I know it's too dry. For anybody that's saying it's too dry, yes, I know. I know it's too dry. That's why I'm trying to moisten it down and then turn it so that way we can kind of get this working again. This system breaking down material, getting material nice and moist. There we go. Now we're starting to see some water build up in the bottom, so we can rotate this around. But this is what needs to happen with this system to try to get it working again. You can see this is starting to get a little bit muddy in the bottom, kind of sticking together. That's really kind of what I want right now, because I want to be able to mix this up. And then I'm eventually going to add this to probably one of my other systems, as I said. I don't know which one yet. I might add this to my 35-gallon trash bin system. But I want to make sure before I do that there is nothing left in here that's going to infest those systems. So this is looking a lot better. It's looking a lot more moist. It's going to help out the worms a lot. It's still dry over here. Let's just dig up this corner a little bit over here. You can see it's starting to get moist, but it's still dry. There's still a lack of moisture in this system. It's just amazing how much water these systems can hold, but these hardwood pellets actually do hold a lot more water than expected. So let me just get some more here. All right, here we go. Just rinse this off glove a little bit. You can tell these hardwood pellets, I mean, they're starting to absorb it, I'm sure. Some of those that have not fully expanded yet. All right, I think we're getting there now. This feels like it's. You hear that? You can see I can squeeze water out of it now. So that's what I want right now. I want to get this nice and moist because there's lots of dry areas in here. It's going to move around the water. It's going to get those areas that are too dry to be wet, and it's going to dry out the other areas that are too wet. So as you maneuver this around, actually here's a fruit fly right here. So as you can see, I just killed one fruit fly out of here. So that's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm trying to get rid of. Hopefully we'll move forward with this, and that way I can get my my time-lapse videos going again, because I don't have any other bins right now either. That's the other problem I have. I do need to pick up some new bins maybe to get them going. So, but so far this is working to get rid of this. I mean, this was definitely one of the major sources of fruit flies in my basement, which I had no idea when I was recording my time-lapse video at the time. Here's something else that's in here. Oh, this is the pumpkin. This is the top of the pumpkin right here. So that just made a huge mess on the floor, but that's okay. There's some worms working at it. That's going to take a long time to break down. Perfectly fine. Here's a piece of, I think, corn cob. So right here. So it just shows some of the stuff that I've thrown in here that is slowly still breaking down in this system. So there is a little bit of food in here, but not a whole lot. Here's another pumpkin top. This is from the first time lapse I did. I actually did 2 time lapses in here with pumpkins. The first one was a failure as the camera died in the middle of it. And I was trying a new system. I was trying using a cell phone camera, and it looked absolutely horrible, the video, so I ended up getting rid of it. I thought it was going to look really nice. And it didn't. So this is looking really good and moist. So we're getting there with this. I think it might be good on water for now. I will continue to add more probably as I go. I just kind of wanted to give you an update on this. This corner is pretty dry. Actually, I think I'm going to add some water over here. We still have some of these unprocessed pellets here that are still showing that they can expand. So let's just add some water over there. Make sure that we get that all mixed up. And, you know, it's okay if I go a little bit too moist at this point. I'm leaving this lid off this bin, so it'll dry out pretty quick, which has been more of an issue typically. But also I want to get this BTI stuff really mixed in here, you know, as I said, so that way it's going to get rid of any fungus gnats, hopefully, that are in here. So, all right, I think we're good. One more, I think, just to rinse off my glove, and then I think I'm going to be done for this update. And hopefully the next time you see this, it will be because of a time-lapse video. Unless I buy a new one, I might, as I said, I might just dump this out into one of my other systems. But and restart this bin, which is okay too. I like doing that for some of my time lapses where I restart things and give it a fresh measurement. I don't know how many worms are in here anymore. It used to be that I had like a pound of worms. You could really see the difference a pound of worms can make, but over time, that's obviously the numbers have grown or shrunken here. Right now they're shrinking. I didn't see any cocoons or anything, but hopefully we'll get this working again. If you have any suggestions for time-lapse videos, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I can add those into my queue of videos to do. But for right now, this is how this is going to be, and we'll see if we can get this get a time-lapse video going soon. So thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, let me know.